from my perspective is just to go back on the broader topic, and I'll come into the charts and stuff, I think the macro was the big thing that actually caught most of us by surprise. Not that the macro caught us by surprise, but the impact it has on crypto. Firstly, when you have negative real wages, people have less money to dollar cost average. It's still a retail investment market. And so then the other thing is central bank liquidity being withdrawn. And, if you look at the year-on-year chart of M2 against Bitcoin, they're basically the same thing. So it tells you that as money's coming out of the system, there's less money around. So as you and I know, Mark, from macro from all these years, that's when you figure out who's swimming without any shorts on, is that moment when there's no liquidity, somebody can't pay for the liquidity that they've been borrowing, right? So that's age old. It happened in crypto this time more than it did in traditional markets. Fine. So that, I think, was the setup. So inflation plus liquidity. So where are we now? We're in a situation where inflation has most likely peaked. From my work, I think inflation comes down very fast. So that fear narrative is gone. And that was holding back crypto. And so you take that away and the beach ball can start rising out of the water. Then on the other side is liquidity. If we start looking at what the bond market is telling us, it's starting to tell us that the Fed are going to pivot at some point. Now, the market's still debating this massively, when it is and how. I'm in the camp that it happens faster than people expect and more aggressively, because I think the recession is coming harder. So therefore, future liquidity is coming up. We're already seeing liquidity coming out of China, which has been a lead in this whole cycle. So therefore, the macro structure looks good. And with the technicals, I had demarc signals. Everything was in that kind of June low period. So it kind of really stacked up for me. And I kind of went, just trying to find any penny I had to put it back into the market. I hadn't taken any out, but it was just putting fresh capital in because you want to get in at those low levels. So now we're going into this area of congestion, as you say, Mark, which is whether it's the ETH kind of 2,000 to 2,300 level, or whether Bitcoin, the 24,000 level. And we need to clear that. Bitcoin's been sluggish, but that's okay. It doesn't have to catapult off the low. ETH's obviously got the narrative behind it. Yeah. So I look at how the market is structured, the price charts. I think there's a broader downward sloping wedge that comes in at 23,000 in 2,300 in ETH. I'm mainly focused on ETH. 2,300 in ETH. I think we go and kiss that line. We haven't had 3 touches of the line yet, so normally it pulls back into the range and then goes. So to me, it's kind of like, as Arthur Hayes wrote, is I think everybody's underweight the merge still. Yeah. People will get into the merge or post-merge. We'll get this spike. We probably get a pullback. A lot of people will say, see, it's going back to the low. My guess is it corrects sideways, does something or back into the range for a bit, and then we explode higher. So I'm very bullish right now. Short term, we're getting close to the overbought, but I think we've just had a correction. My guess is we go again. What's fascinating is to see the forwards markets and the futures markets is everybody's hedging ETH merge risk. So they're buying ETH, selling the futures. Now, somebody's going to have to lift that hedge off at some point. Now, it depends. And so I find that setup really interesting. And I know the crypto hedge funds are all underweight still because they got beaten up so badly. And so they've been buying calls as the way of having something on for the merge so they can get beaten up by their investors. Yeah. So it's like when you see that kind of setup, the path of pain is still higher. Forget this narrative of true believers versus investors. The big breakthrough of what crypto does is the incentive-based program of you can participate in the network and make money and still believe in it, right? So it doesn't matter. You don't have to be that Bitcoin libertarian who wants to fight for total privacy and total freedom. It's not fucking relevant. It is to them, and that's their fight, and that's fine, right? Everybody has a different reason. But what I'm seeing is massive corporate adoption. I don't think anybody realizes Ticketmaster have distributed 10 million NFTs, right? All of tickets are going on to Web3. Everything. So if we want to talk about how to get to the next 100 million, it'll happen at paces we don't yet understand. There are many of these Web3 projects of corporates that we don't even know about that have put millions of people into this economy. And once you're in, you got the wallet. Once you're in, you start thinking, okay, what else is this? What can I do? And it comes. You see, money and making money is not a use case for everybody. It's a use case for people who want to invest and want to make money out of it. But the enabling of blockchain technology at scale is something we won't even notice. I mean, there's some amazing wallets like Vison who you don't even know what blockchain your tokens are on. It doesn't matter, right? So you don't do this, long string, all of this. You drag and drop, and it can be Solana, it could be ETH, it could be anything, and it works. It's like, and then it won't become that, because then I go to a concert, I get a ticket, my ticket goes into my wallet, that becomes a memento. It may give me unlock to other access, something else. So there's so much coming. So the next billion people are not going to be buying Bitcoin. I have a few different tokens. My main bets are Ethereum and Solana. But like Mooch, I have no idea whether Solana is going to be something or not. I think it probably is, because the network adoption seems to be as high as anything else, but the world can change fast. So, outside of that, I have a basket of equally weighted stuff, because I assume I'm an idiot and don't know how to choose the right things. So I've got that. And then that's why I set up a fund of hedge funds, because I'd rather give my money to a bunch of people whose job is to go and find what is the next 100x or 1000x than try and do it myself, because it's complicated. So yeah, I started an asset management company to do that. And the rest is a couple of concentrated bets, and then just a small basket of stuff, just to keep my eye on it all, see what's moving, see how it works. I think we have no idea, so we can just invent things and make it sound cool. We have just no idea. What I do know is, if I just extrapolate the network adoption effects, the number of users, and where that number of users is going, and assume it gets to somewhere between 4 and 5 billion in the next 10 years or so, which would be central bank digital currencies enabling it, all ticketing, a whole bunch of stuff going that way. Well, the market cap of the space goes from whatever it is today, $1 trillion, to $200 trillion. Okay. We kind of throw out these numbers. People don't realize the world has never seen an accumulation of wealth like that in history. I mean, this would be the shortest period of time of the largest accumulation of wealth ever seen. So even if I'm wrong, let's say I'm a total moron and I'm wrong by 90%. Well, 20 trillion, 1 trillion, I'll still take that bet, because it's still the best bet in the world. And that's by me being wrong by 90%.